What's up, world? It's your boy Tommy Mav, and I just wanted to, come and rep a 10 and speak on this whole Laura Ingram, Lebron James situation, and just basically point out something that should be understood, but maybe is forgotten in this country. That people have to understand, right? Especially people who are Christian people, you know what I'm saying? We need to understand what we're doing, right? Don't fall for the mindset, right? In this country, you have too many people that are like the Laura Ingrams, the Carl Tuckers, you know what I'm saying, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, you know what I'm saying, Fox News. They're all there. They're not there to disseminate information. They're not there to inform. They're not there to inform. They're there to incite, right? They're there to make you angry. Try this if you're African American, white person, no matter who you are. Try to go a couple days without watching the news and realize how out of the loop you are at this chaos, right? They're constantly telling you there's chaos everywhere, there's chaos everywhere. You should be scared. You should be scared of this. There's chaos, there's injustice, there's chaos, there's injustice. And by all means, that's the truth. They're right. You know what I mean? There is chaos everywhere. There is injustice everywhere. But not as much as they are leading you to believe. Right? There are idiotic people in this world, and you and people who live in poor areas, whether that be a white person, a Hispanic, or a black person, or Asian person, it does not matter. If you live in a poor area, you're going to be policed different, you're going to be treated differently, and nobody's going to give a damn, right? Poor whites get treated better than blacks, but still pretty shitty by cops, right? If they come to a place and it looks like a white trash / they're going to treat them the same way. They're going to talk down to them. They're going to treat them like they're better than they are, because that's the mindset, right? When you see this 75-year-old man get pushed down, you know what I mean? And bust his head wide open on the concrete real fact. And you got people who are sitting around here talking about, you know what I'm saying, this is turning into a crazy state where you can't say what you want to say, because and I also want to shout out to Drew Brees, because that's who's the linchpin that started this whole thing with that stupid idiot Laura Ingram, or that misguided woman Laura Ingram, because I'm trying to stop using the word idiot and dumb and whatever. But she's very misguided, right? And evil. So I call anybody, I call a person who would disseminate it is a knowing distributor of false information. I think there's an evil in that, right? And I think that's what Laura Ingram does. See, Drew Brees and a lot of black people are the same way. On the other side, and a lot of white people, there are people who want war. Right, so they're not the most rational people. They're always looking for a fight. They're always looking to say us versus them in some form, fashion. So Drew Brees came out after his initial situation. He came out and basically expressed his regret, which I truly believe he probably did regret it. I don't think he thought about it, because a lot of stuff that I was saying, you know what I'm saying, I didn't really think about it until I actually started talking about it. Then I thought about it. So I'm pretty sure if you Drew Brees, you probably ain't thinking about the things the same way, and somebody comes and gives you a different perspective on something, it's very honest. It's very easy to believe that you got a different perspective from hearing something differently, right? But they wouldn't categorize it as that, right? You got the idiots like Rob Parker who are coming out saying this is what happens. See, let that be a lesson to all you. You're a dickhead. You're an idiot, right? If a person does what Drew Brees did, truly takes in what you have to say, and then fire back. Drew Brees could have been an asshole. Drew Brees could have not said nothing at all. He probably would have still got and probably would have had to change nothing about his life. He's probably all around white people, living in an affluent neighborhood with a bunch of people that look at him like he's a king, right? Drew Brees, yes, it would have blown. It got it. But at the time that he decided to speak on it, that story had already died. After he apologized, that story had already lost its way. It died, right? But idiots gonna say Drew Brees only saying that now because he got caught. Who gives a shit, right? That's what makes me angry. Who cares? If he's trying to help, why are you making it harder? Right? Like I said, they're agents of chaos. All of them on both sides. Laura Ingram is an agent of chaos. These idiots that are going out there criticizing Drew Brees for speaking on the president. I don't even believe they're black people. I believe they're white people who are pretending to be black people or racist white people, because they're a different species of white people. They're white people, regular coolest people on the planet, white people. Coolest black people on the planet, people. There's cool people and there are jerks, right? Disgusting people, right? There are disgusting racist black people. There are disgusting racist white people. There are disgusting Asian, disgusting Asians, Hispanics. Racism is everywhere. It's all around us, right? And it's not only coming from white people. It's not only coming from Asians or black. It's coming from everywhere, right? So don't get it twisted. I'm not talking about white people in general, because racism has that is not barred by color. Like I said, some of the most racist shit I've ever heard have come from black people towards other black people. You know what I'm saying? So miss me with the racism stuff. You know what I'm saying? Racism, black people see a lot of criticism and racism from their own community. Not as much. They don't have the ability to oppress you like the white community does. That's a given. But there are nuances to everything. But the point I'm trying to say is, when I'm talking about thought, racist thought, white people do not have a monopoly on racist thoughts. Asians are some of the most racist people. Hispanics, especially down here where I stay, in Florida. Oh gosh, these Cubans they think they're white. Like, you can't tell them they're not white, right? And that's not to say believe what you want to believe, but it's like the person who has to overcompensate so that other people will see them as one of them. And that's what a lot of these Cubans do. And they're some of the most racist people you ever come. They're racist against other Spanish people, black people. They're just racist people. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's genuine to Cubans specifically, but I noticed that is down here. These Cubans are racist as hell. You know what I mean? A lot of them are super racist. But regardless, when you have a guy like Drew Brees who comes out of his own comfort zone and at great risk to his personal identity, to his to a lot of, just like he offended a lot of the black population, he probably knew he was going to offend a lot of his base when he said that. But I felt like Drew Brees felt compelled to say what he said. They said he was crying. They say he was upset, dearly upset by what his words, how much his words hurt other people. And that's all you can ask for. When somebody tell you they're sorry and they tell you that they have true contrition and they show true contrition, you have to take them at their word. And it ain't well, we gonna see. You're nobody. First of all, you're not nobody's judge and juror, okay? We don't take shit on his merit, because he doesn't have to do shit to prove it. Right? Or what is he gonna do for the movement? That shit misses me. He's not obligated to do shit for the community. What are you doing for poor white people in America? What are you doing to make their lives better? Or are you gonna say that's not your fight? Right? So it comes down to this: if a person chooses to help a situation and they are not of that ilk of the population that's being affected, they should be applauded, even if they're just saying something. Right? Because that's better than doing nothing. Because there's a lot of people from a lot of different communities who don't speak on the injustices in other communities, and that's including the black community. So I find that very annoying when I have to hear people people in the black community come at other races, because at the end of the day, this shit is all smoke and mirrors, right? There's one race of people, right? And these people in this country have found a way to split up black people, split up white people, split up Asian. They found a way to make sure that the lower class never uprises, right? Because that's what happens, right? You can oppress the poor, but if you do not segregate the poor, then they tend to come together and rise and overthrow the monarchy, overthrow those in power. So if you are a person in power, the smartest thing you can do is segregate that class. And then not only so what they did, and what a lot of people don't understand, is what they did was they took white people and they separated them. They put black people and they oppressed them, right? So they took white people and gave them the bottom of the barrel. They didn't really give them shit, right? They just gave them the bare minimum. They started them out with cheap suburban homes, right? Nothing to smile out, but they got a small little piece of land, right? That kind of put them on a little higher level than the poor black person. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, or let's just put it, they put them on a solid ground, right? Now, they weren't rich, and half of them are in generations and generations of living in the same poverty. The class system in America is almost socialist and communist in its practice. Poor people, if you're poor, if you're suburban, the chances of you growing up and staying in a suburban area are very high. If you're poor, the chances of you going and living in a poor area are very high. You have a very class-like communist capitalist system, right? So poor stays poor, the rich stays rich, and that's how it maintains itself. That's how it continues to. It continues to keep people down. So they did that. They separated them. And okay, little poor white dude, I'm gonna give you this. Poor black dude, I'm gonna give you this. You know, I'm gonna oppress you, and I'm gonna oppress you not because I have to, but because I need them to believe their life is better, right? And the only way I can make them believe their life is better is to make your life harder, right? I have to make your life seem so shitty that they feel happy. They feel as if we care about them, right? So what ends up happening is white people always get a rude awakening because they truly believe this country gives a shit about them, right? And that is almost worse than knowing the country doesn't care about you, right? Because they are so unaware of the prisons they live in, right? Think about it, white person. They'll show you a story of Jeff Bezos, you know what I'm saying, Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, making you believe that if you're white, that somehow, if you get an idea, you can become a millionaire. Think about how large the white population is, right? What percentage of them actually will ever become a Bill Gates? Or even rich, to be honest, right? The majority of them will never be rich. The majority of them will always be working, doing menial jobs, and living in houses that were bought by their parents, or at least funded by something that were bought by their parents. So they give you that same welfare. That's your welfare. They give you that little house. So yeah. Some of them move up from lower class to maybe upper middle class if they get lucky. Yes. But you have to spend so much fucking money to go from a lower class to an upper class, right? You have to go to college, which starts you out in debt 90% of the time. So in order for you to move from the lower class to the upper class, you have to basically go in debt. So even when you get to the middle class, you are still living like a lower class person because you have given up so much of you put yourself in so much debt just to get out of the lower class that you end up going to college and doing all that just to make $40,000 a year. And at the end of the day, that $40,000 a year that you making ain't even enough for you to live like a real middle class person. So your wage and your money says that you're middle class, but your bills and debt says that you're lower class. But see, white people are they're in a prison of their mind, right? They've taught them that as long as America prospers, they prosper. They got millions and millions of white people voting for a group of people that are telling them that it's more important for them to continue to keep giving money to the rich than it is to them. And they are somehow thumbing it up because they have taught them to say not to give the money to the rich is to say not to give money to white people. And that's what type of mental prison they're in. And so we talk about the black prison, the black mind prison, right? But every single race has a prison that they live in, not just black and brown people, right? There's an impoverished system that we all deal with, right? That this government puts on us because it is funded by the devil. And I don't care if it sounds ethereal to people. And I'm not talking about fictitious. I'm not talking about metaphorically. I'm saying literally, the devil, Lucifer. That is the person that is dictating and doing this shit. And he's been around for a long fucking time. He's been around a long time. He knows things and he's smarter than you will ever understand. This is a man that has watched our species from our inception. He's watched us. He knows us. He knows how to get under that, and he's had people that he's taught for thousands of years to run the sweetest game on us that we don't even understand we being gamed. So they tell you this and they'll tell you that so that you're angry and you're upset. You're like, why the hell am I even so angry? Why am I always angry about this stuff? When I just stay off social media, I find I'm not so upset. I find I'm not so angry. Because that's the game. See, if you're angry, you got to be angry at somebody. And we can give you somebody to be angry at. If we don't do nothing, the devil can give you someone to be angry at. Even if that person doesn't exist. Right? He can make every person you see the exact person you hate. Instead of us listening for ways that we are the same, we are constantly looking for ways to be for someone to say something that offends us, that makes them different than we are, makes their mindset ignorant or stupid. It's a level of arrogance in every human being. And I feel that they run the perfect game. And when you got somebody, come on, think about it. Think about this, right? Tucker Carlson, who is on Fox News right now, is an heir to a billionaire fortune who every night comes on television talking to millions of poor white people, telling them how much he relates to their plight. And they believe it because of the shield in front of them. Long as it has Fox News at the bottom of the feed, they can say a monkey did a backflip and song whammy and wham, and those people will believe it. As long as it has that Fox News seal on it, they're gonna believe it. Same thing with the left. As long as it has CNN next to it, MSNBC. Well, maybe not CNN because they're kind of thrown to the wolves a lot. But any way you want to, TYT, whatever you want to say, any place where you respect the source, you don't vet it. And so they start you out with a little bit of truth. Police brutality. Yeah, it is. Black people are treated bad in this country. Yeah, that's true. Next thing you know, they end up teaching you to hate Republicans. They teaching you to hate conservatives. They teaching you to hate poor white people. They're ignorant. They're stupid. So when you look for racism, you don't look for from the guy who walks up to you and talks to you in a in a normal fashion. He kind of placates to your sensibilities. You let him slide right on the radar. He's screwing you over worse than any poor white person ever could. And you don't even pay attention to him because he listens to rap music and talks to you with a certain type of lyric. I mean, think about the hip hop industry. Ain't no poor white people stole that. The rock industry. Ain't no poor white people stole that. Ain't no racist hillbilly stole that shit from you. The guy who pretended to relate to you stole that shit from you. He stole hip hop from you. He stole rock from you. He stole country, rhythm and blues, Delta blues. The guy who related to you and snuck in and boxed you in and stole it was a guy that sounded like you, or at least he learned how to emulate your speech. He learned how to emulate your love and pretend as if he cared about the product as much as you did. So you let your guard down. So when you look down here 30, 40 years ago, you got a Puff Daddy and a Russell Simmons and a Jay-Z. They're all heinous, disgusting human beings that screwed over people their entire lives. So that's why they're there. The vast majority of people sitting in those seats are not hillbilly white people, Southern, Confederate flag wearing, not say I'm for that, I'm just saying Confederate flag wearing conservatives. You're not getting oppressed by conservatives. You're getting oppressed by liberals, right? And then you go to the conservative side, and they're wandering around trying to figure out why the small businesses are going out of business. Why can't they sustain their sole proprietorships anymore? Why can't they maintain themselves anymore? Because they keep constantly dropping prices. These rich people that they keep telling you are your friends keep dropping the prices of their production because they have the money to send stuff overseas. So therefore the small business no longer can compete with the conglomerate anymore. So these small businesses, these ranches, these stuff like that, they're lowballing them. They're screwing them over. Right? And the poor white guy who's waking up in the morning going to work at the same job as the black guy who he hates, but has more in common with him than that anybody on Fox News could ever wish to have. He hates him because he's been taught that he is your competition. The reason why you get laid off is not because the black person gets your job. He gets laid off too. The reason why you getting laid off and the reason why there's no jobs for you is because they're sending your jobs overseas to make more money. That does not stimulate our economy, causes us to lose money and our economy to come worse, to make you have to spend more on your goods and services. Also, that they can compete about who got this. So these fuckheads can compete about who got the biggest yacht. That's what your suffering and pain and anguish. That's the wager for your suffering angel. So they can have a pissing contest over who's the richest person in the world. So when you turn on Laura Ingram and Tucker Carlson, a bunch of rich conservatives who are coming on TV telling you that they can relate to your strife and they can relate to what you're going through, turn that shit off, because they can't. They've never been in your shoes. Tucker Carlson has never been in your shoes. He's never been poor, having to figure out how he's going to feed his family. He has never been in a situation in which his son came to him for something and he had to go through the humiliation of telling him he can't afford it. Poor white person. He's not the person that when he goes on there starting racial tensions, he's not the enemy they see. You are. They teach them to see you as the enemy. So when you step out of your household, poor lower middle class white person or middle class white person or poor white person, when you step out of your house, you become a target because of the shit they say. They can't get the Tucker Carlson. They can't get the Laura Ingram. But if they see you walking down the street with a MAGA hat on, they see you walking down the street talking that shit, you gonna get your ass kicked. You ain't even gotta say, you ain't gotta be racist, you ain't gotta be nothing. They're looking, you're the target. Black person, when you turn on the TV and you see these rich ass white black dudes sitting on TV telling you to be angry, telling you to do dumb shit, constantly stoking your anger, constantly poking you with a stick, telling you to do something. Do something. When is enough enough? Do something. When is enough enough? Do something. They're sticking you with a stick. Do something. Please do something. They're not telling you to do something because they think it's going to change anything. They're telling you to do something so they can go on TV and have something to talk about. They don't give a shit about you. Okay? You end up in TV, you end up in jail tomorrow, you end up with your head bust wide open by some cop, you end up shot up in the middle of the street. You know what they gonna do? The same shit they did to George Floyd. I don't know a damn thing more about George Floyd now than I knew when he died. Because he's not George Floyd. He's the shield that they can use to get every agenda, every mindset, to get everybody angry. So they're using it for political props. I heard Kamala, whatever her name is, Harris, on the townhouse meeting, you throwing this man's name around like she gave two shits about it. That man would have walked past her in the street and pissed. She wouldn't have pissed on him if he was on fire. But now we were all George. You don't give a shit about George Floyd. Or the man wouldn't have been sitting out there on the corner. Now, Steven Jackson, do I think he cared about him? Yeah, I think he cared about him. I think Steven Jackson did care about him. That was that's somebody he actually knew. And actually had dialect. That was his friend. So I'm not talking about Steven Jackson. But I am talking about all these other idiots who are coming on TV speaking this stuff that's just sparking anger in people, and they ain't gonna bust a grape. They sitting on their couch, locked down, sitting on their couch, stoking other people to be violent. They're stoking other people to do something so they can have some fucking amusement during this lockdown. So all these brave and honorable people who are protesting for something that they feel is right, they have given them no aim. They have given them no agenda. They have given them, what the hell are y'all fighting for? What are you protesting for? They have given you no clear or concise answer to that question. They're telling you to be angry without telling you what you're trying to accomplish with that anger. Because they don't give a shit about accomplishing anything. They're trying to, Joe Biden is using it so he can get voted in. Just like Trump uses the anger and frustration of being poor in this country. That fucking sucks for everybody, right? It sucks for everybody. Whether you black, white, it sucks worse, obviously, for certain groups, namely the African American group, because we have been the most efficient boogeyman that they can find to the largest population. That's our problem. That's why we're treated. That's why we're seen. And that's why we're the tool. See, they use Asians as a tool. But their tool is different. See, they use Asians to stoke anger in black people. right? They show Asians and they'll say, see, look at the Asian. He grew up, he can do this, he can do that. But they don't tell you the truths behind that. And I can get into it, but I don't really want to come and get into it because I ain't finna take this as an opportunity to put down, Asian, what I'm saying, people. I'm just saying, because they should be applauded for what they achieve, no matter what the reason for them achieving it is. They achieve great, they do great things. They're good, they're great people. Just like black people are amazing people. Right? But at the end of the day, if you're gonna speak on the issue, you should understand it. And they use Asians all the time. Because they use Asians to make African Americans angry. They literally had a concentrated effort to pick them and raise them up faster. The affirmative action helps them more than anybody else. Hiring practices where you're forced to face a minority, they don't say black, white, or Hispanic, they just say minority. Guess who that minority is 90% of the time? So they purposely do this, and then they'll go behind. There was a concentrated effort by the government to do this. They hated Asians as well, right? But Asians were the lesser of the evils. So they decided, okay, we got to do this, then we're going to go with the Asians. Right? They're smaller, more submissive. They tend to not. They're a really small population, so they tend to be loners. They don't tend to do things for their race. They tend to just do things for themselves. So they're the perfect specimen because they're such a small race that they can't really put up a fight. Right? They can be drowned out fairly easy. So when injustice happens to them, who gives a shit? Right? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? All this is Asian sex trafficking and all this shit. The fetishizing of small Asian children and all this shit in the media. Who's going to speak up for them? See, you make the black people hate them because they're by constantly using them to alleviate the bullshit you do to black people, right? And then you tell the white people that they're fine. The white people that will look to them to help them, you say they don't need their help because they're already good. So the Asian doesn't have anybody to hear their plights. They don't have anybody to hear their issues. And most of the time they're ignored. The same thing with Middle Eastern people. It's the same shit, which are clumped in with Asians, I get it, but I'm saying specifically them. So at the end of the day, I feel like this. I know it's a long road to get to a small destination, but I'm saying a long road to get to a short destination. But I'm saying when you hear a Laura Ingram, a Tucker Carlson speaking, stop seeing white people. Stop seeing them as white people, okay? Start seeing them for what they are, which are puppets for the devil. They're there to cause chaos. Because it is inevitably going to lead to an agenda. There is something here. The last time they started to stroke this stuff, they ended up taking away some of our freedoms. And every time they stoke this anger up, and I was telling my wife this 2 weeks ago, they're going to do something that's going to take more of our rights away. And sooner or later, you're going to start seeing tanks in our streets. And here we are. Tanks can be in your street right now, and none of you wouldn't even bat an eye. You would say, oh, I guess it's because of protest. Do you think that these people are armed to the hilt with face masks and bulletproof vests and all this shit for people holding them signs? Stop it. Ain't nobody believes that they are that geared up with that type of army stuff. That is stuff you use to enforce. That is not stuff you use to protect. So miss me, right? There is an agenda that goes beyond this. First, they started with COVID to get us all in our homes. Stay in your home. Stay in your home. Nobody's getting COVID-19. How many? Every time you turn on TV, 100,000 there, 300,000 there. Prove that. Can you prove it? I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm saying, can you prove it happened? You can't. You can't prove that there's been anybody sick or dying of COVID-19. They want to show you this thing from New York. It's a hospital. People die every day. They have a bunch of cadavers in that place. Dead bodies on the bottom floor. Can you prove all of them died of COVID-19? Doesn't matter. How many of you personally know, not heard, or somebody in your job who knows somebody, or how many of you personally know somebody with COVID-19? Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you gonna be the person. They took it, forced us in our homes. Then they start pumping this shit out. This anger. I was like, man, when have they ever gave this much of a shit about police killing cops? Killing unarmed black people. This shit has been going on for a long time. Oh, this is the most heinous video. Are you serious? Did you see the Rodney King video? Trust me. Just go on YouTube and type in police brutality. This is not the worst. It's bad, but it wasn't the worst. But it was a red herring. Put it out there. See, before a week ago, they were mad. Everybody, why are these people protesting? See, but they have to stay consistent. See, because if all these people are out, they have to make it seem like, okay, they tried it first with the people getting tired of being locked down, and they portrayed them as, oh, we got to stop them. But then started to realize people didn't give a shit, right? People didn't care about those people protesting. So it was like, okay, so we're not getting them to be unruly. They're not getting angry about having to be out, out of work. No, we thought they'd be more angry right now, because that's the message they were perpetuating through the media. People are angry. People are upset for not having jobs. But that wasn't really the true pulse of the nation. People were like, I don't want my family and loved ones to fly, so I can understand it. See, and they can't. That's not what they wanted. They wanted people there to be an uprising, so therefore they can have an excuse to bring the hammer down. See, in that first COVID wave, it wasn't doing it. So they waited, and then they hit us with this whole racial thing, right? And then they had a whole bunch of fake people start looting and rioting at night, right? You go talk to those people who speak on that. It's like, I've never seen this dude. I don't know who he is. He hasn't been with us all day. But soon the lights go off. All of a sudden, there's police stations being burned down. People are breaking in. They got videos of YouTube stars looting places. Guys with umbrellas, like they're hiding from drones, coming breaking windows. And I'm trying to tell you people, this has shit to do with social justice. What have they proposed? Nothing. They have proposed nothing to help social justice. Have they done anything? See, because if you ask me, I would think the smartest thing to do is to start with the hiring process, the way that these cases are prosecuted, who prosecutes them. Has anybody said any legislation? See, because normally you protest to make sure something passes that you want to pass. Not to just randomly say you hate police and not hate police, but you are against what the police procedure, and you're against. No, that's not an idea. You're just coming to say you're angry. That's like me showing up to a Kentucky Fried Chicken or freaking Carrabba's. And saying, I don't like this food. And give me a different type of food, because I don't like this food. They're gonna look at you and say, okay, so what do you want? That's gonna be the first question people ask. Nobody's answered that. They just keep saying, we want social justice. What the hell does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything. And nothing's gonna happen. Only thing's gonna happen is they gonna give them an excuse to drop the hammer down. And when they start dropping the hammer down, they become more and more stringent on what they're doing and how they're doing it. And then what they're doing is they're testing the pulse. They're trying to see how Americans act from watching it, right? Will they rise up or will they crumble? And what they just showed with this protest is that if they drop the hammer, they showed them kicking over a 75-year-old man and busting his head open. Nothing happened. So they just showed if they drop the hammer, American citizens ain't gonna do anything. And that's what they do. They run checks first. So now when they truly want to bring the hammer down and start real martial law, they know they ain't gonna get no kickback. Police start patrolling, telling you to get in the house at 6 o'clock. And then at night come start taking people in the middle of the night like the Germans used to do. Coming in the house, just laying everybody down. Then turning around and saying looters did it. Next thing you know, we turn around, we live in a communist totalitarian government. But I talk longer than I wanted to. I just wanted to really say, like I said, once again, I feel very strongly about a lot of these issues. You know what I'm saying? And I talk about sports, but I know about everything. I'm a very observant person. I don't get caught up in the left wing, right wing, conservative. I follow God. That's my law. And God's people are my people. You know what I'm saying? I care about, you know what I'm saying? I love being African American. I'm a black person. But by the same token, I'm a Christian first. Before I'm anything else. And I know God gave me a mind for a reason. That's to use it. And when you realize that the world is made to make you angry so it can manipulate you, then you become a puppet. Cognitive conditioning. You start to react to stimuli without even understanding why you react to that stimuli. You show MAGA, make America great again with that red little hat enough times, and someone walks up to you with something that's just red and white, and it's not even the same thing. It's just a red hat with a little white symbol on it. And you start to feel yourself get angry, and you don't even know why. It's cognitive conditioning. You start to just feel, it starts to feel, it's like the salivation with the dog. Every time you see that, there's an anger. So now they got you on a roll. They can get you to do whatever they want you to do. We want you to riot. Put that out there, get that anger going, and then every 5 minutes they say anarchy, power. It's a hypnotist trick. You're angry. I'm angry. You'll hear these sports, these broadcasters saying it over and over again. I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm mad. It makes me so angry. It makes me so mad. They're not telling you how they're feeling. They're telling you how to feel. They're saying, get angry, get mad, get angry, get mad. And every single time, you know it, and you know I'm not lying. When they say, get angry, get mad, you get angry and you get mad. That's the way this world works. And if you do not learn to distance yourself from this world, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And this whole Ingram, LeBron James situation, Drew Brees situation, yes, obviously she's a hypocrite. Obviously she's saying something now that she was not saying it is, but she's also just playing a role. It's like when I see people try to call out Republicans and Democrats in these high profile figures, it's like somebody walking up to me telling me Seth Rollins was good, now he's bad. It's like, that's a script. He's a wrestler. He was a heel then, now he's a face. And then he'll be a face again. And then he'll be a heel again. Then he'll be a face again. Then he'll be a heel again. It does not matter, because that's not actually who Seth Rollins is. So I don't hold him up to the standards of normal human beings. Laura Ingram is not a normal human being. She is only a face. She's only a tool they try out people. And they realize certain people resonates with people frequency, which allows them to open up and accept them. Look at the word entertainment. That means being detained so something can enter you. It's not ethereal, it's the truth. They just taught you that the world that you see is the real world, and that's not. There's so much layers to this junk. Don't get caught up in the storm. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught in the storm running out to put out a fire that isn't there, that the storm gonna put out anyways. Leave it to the storm. It'll do whatever they do. You continue to pray and keep your mind set focused on God. Everything else, leave that to the birds. They're gonna fight and they're gonna bicker back and forth all day. And at the end of the day, they have an agenda. You can't control what happens in this world. You think running around here protesting is gonna happen in the world? No, they're just using it as a tool. They're using you as a tool. These people that you look up to, these guys that have these large platforms. Come on, bro. You think YouTube demonetizes you for saying the F word in your video? These people making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of YouTube and their celebrity. Doesn't that, you don't realize that contradicts itself? Why would you monetize me for saying the F word if people who are way heinous and do way more things other than just say the F word are still sponsored by the very same people that you're running away from? Doesn't kind of defies logic, right? Anyways, as I said before, I'll talk forever on this, and I really don't want to. But I just had to take a second out to just speak on these issues, because right now, these issues will drive you crazy if you let them. And I just feel like as a person who has a small voice, if I can use it to wake some people up, then I'm gonna use it to wake some people up. But that's my wake up call. Wake up. Don't let someone tell you your house is burning when you can look around and see it's perfectly fine. When you go out in the street, you don't see anarchy. You don't see chaos. They're telling you it's anarchy and chaos so they can have a reason to stop. You won't question when they start to use their heavy hammer to stop chaos and anarchy. They've been putting millions and millions of dollars into our military, into our domestic police. They've privatized our police departments for years, and they've been pumping money into them. You think why in the world would you do that when your job is to protect your citizens? This is not a game. I don't listen to no conspiracy radio. I don't pay attention to conspiracy radio. I have common sense. And common sense tells me I did not get this from somewhere else. I got this from just having common sense. If you were watching the world and you see the world, and why in the world would you put millions of dollars into a police state? Unless you're trying to turn, they keep pumping more and more money and turning our police force into more of an occupying entity than a police force. The connection is you coming more and more distant. So understand that. They're trying to make you angry so that they can make you react. And the more the better. Now they're going to send their own, whether you do it or not, they're going to send their own actors out there to do it anyways. Whether it's the white side, black side, it does not matter. They just wanted to make it seem like there's anarchy. As long as it seems like there's anarchy, they have a reason to put the hammer down. So they go to the people who they know got the guns, which are the white people, right? And they make them come out first and protest, so that people see them and they think, oh, they're protesting now. So those white people who are the people who's going to give them the most opposition because they have all the guns. They're the people with the guns. The liberals don't have guns. So what do? We show the people with guns that we're not mad at you. We're mad at the weak guy who has no gun. So you guys don't worry about this. Don't worry about us. We're bringing these police riding through your streets. Don't worry about us. We're focused on the nasty, disgusting liberals. So you guys just stay in your house. Next thing you know, they're gonna look out the door and you're gonna have cops, tanks coming up and down the street. Get in your homes. But anyway, like I said before, I did not want to talk on that for 100 years, but I did want to speak on it. And I talked for 50 minutes. It's probably the longest I'm talking in a while. So that's all I want to say. I'm sorry if you somehow sat through all 50 minutes of this. Let me know what you think. If you didn't, I can understand, because I feel like it was long-winded and had nothing really to do with sports. So if you feel free, when I start talking about these issues, I can go forever. But anyways, please comment, subscribe, and thumbs it up if you like it. All right, y'all. Peace.